Hey guys! So today we're going to be doing a makeup tutorial for RYO from Devilman Crybaby from way back in I think 2018. So this is going to be a basic tutorial, going to teach you how to do mostly what you need to do to get around a con or for a photo shoot. First thing you need to do absolutely is prime. You could either prime to moisturize, prime to smooth your face, and I'm priming to smooth my face with a silicone-based primer because I have a lot of pores and acne and fun stuff. So I have two different foundations. Neither of them fit me, so I'm gonna choose the fair one because this boy is pale. Now, it's gonna look like absolute shit for like 2 minutes. You gotta trust the process. Alright, so after you put it on with a brush, which I feel gives you a lot more coverage, which is what I'm looking for, but it does give you a lot of streaks, so I go over it with a sponge afterwards, just to get rid of the streaks. If you go on with a sponge initially, you don't get as much coverage, which might be good if you're not going for the palest man ever. So now I'm going to contour with actually my bronzer, but it works either way. So I'm doing a really harsh line, and I do apologize, this is the one part of the video that's not in ×2, I can't fix it. But I'm doing a really harsh line because he looks malnourished in the show, and we're gonna give him a really defined cheekbone, and with most of the time with any character that I do, I like to define the jawline. And especially with more male cosplays, I'll go straight down the jawline and a straight line all the way to the chin. So with the nose, you want to pretend like you're drawing a picture of someone with a nose, and whichever parts you would draw on a piece of paper, you want to contour and give a line to better define it. So now we're going to blend for the next 80 years. Now that we've got that harsh, dead inside, straight line on our cheeks, let's go ahead and hollow out the rest of our cheeks. I'm using the exact same bronzer from before, and I'm just going under that line. It really, all you need to do is blend. As long as you blend it out, it will look great in post. Don't be afraid of color. This is me realizing that even though he's dead inside, might as well give him a little bit of highlight. This is the worst one that I have, and I consider it the worst because it's natural. It's also the most expensive one I have, so take that as you will. Now you'll see me do this a lot through the entire video. The places that I highlight are the tops of my cheeks, the bridge and the tip of my nose, and then sometimes between my eyebrows and on my chin and right on the cupid's bow of the lips. And now we're going to start on the eyes. You always want to start with a very skin tone color just to give yourself a base. And it looks like I did absolutely nothing. All right, now we're gonna move on to a little bit of a darker color. And you can't see it, but it is a warmer toned. I decided because most of the show is yellow based, that we're gonna go a little bit warmer on the eyes. And no matter what cosplay you're doing, you always want to put on a little bit of eyeshadow just to give your eye shape. Don't be afraid if you're even doing the manliest of man cosplays. Do not be afraid of color and definition. All right, now this is what I call my secret weapon. This is what took me years to find out, which with professional cosplayers, why they looked so good. It's because they put a little bit of red into their male cosplays, and this is a NYX eye pencil in bright red, and what I like to do is put it directly on the waterline and then a little bit into the lash line, and then you take a really coarse brush and you blend it. And it's the worst feeling you will ever experience in your life. But you'll see me go from a coarse brush to a normal blending brush to a really fluffy brush I would use for blush. And you'll see it just give a tired look, make it look like he has personality. Now that he looks like he's been up for a couple days, we're going to actually put a little bit of shimmer on this. I usually don't put shimmer on my cosplay looks, but because of his final transformation, I really thought it was fitting. And then what I like to do whenever I put shimmer on, it gets a little messy and then I feel a little bit more confident. So we're putting on a much darker color into the outer crease, and you're gonna see me regret every decision I've ever made and just keep going. All right, so inner corner highlight I think is actually immensely important. It opens up the eye, and for this one I chose a nice shiny duochrome yellow. Now, for eyeliner, I think it's really important to have a pencil and a pen eyeliner. This one's pencil, and I put it on the shelf under my lashes. If you don't want a harsh winged line on top of your character, I suggest always doing this. It just gives your lashes more of a look, it defines the eye, and it's not as uncomfortable as the red was, but you need practice. Now, I want to give him a little bit of definition just to elongate the eye, so I'm doing the tiniest wing. And don't be afraid of it, just place your pen down and just swoop up your eye. Now I've decided to do the little triangle in the corner of my eye. I'm trying to show you on this eye where right next to the tear duct, not in it, I'm trying to make a point facing my nose. And all it does is give a more villainous look, as Ryo is technically the villain of the show. And now with brows, use what you've got. Do not be afraid. You just gotta fill them in a little bit. Brows do not make or break a look. Just don't be afraid to mess with them. I was afraid to mess with them for years. Just do what you feel is best. I'm not making them blonde. I'm just working with the shape and the color that I have. And now, just because of the yellow in the show, and I love it so much, don't be afraid of colored highlight. If you dab it on, it really won't affect the look too much. If you were to slide it on, yes, it would look very yellow. And lastly, for male looks, I like to use a nude color. Could be a lip pencil, lipstick, but I like to put it on just the outsides and then draw under the bottom lip, just to give it definition. You do not want concealer lips, you want a little bit of color. I happen to have a lipstick that's essentially just my skin color to give a little bit more coverage in the middle. All right, blend it out, and we done. So now we are on to RYO's final transformation into Satan at the end of the show. I'm sorry if you haven't seen it, that's a spoiler, but it doesn't ruin the show. So with his final look, he becomes immensely androgynous. He becomes the perfect non-binary being because angels don't have gender. It's a great show. And what I'm doing is just adding glow to my face with the eyeshadow I used before. And we're going to actually mess with the lashes this time. You do not need to curl them. I like to do it. This is a $5 e.l.f. one. It works just fine. We're going to make the wing a little bit bigger. I have to admit, I'm not good at making very large dramatic wings without a little bit of assistance from tape at the beginning. So we're just going to do as much as I can without fully messing it up. We're also connecting the inner triangle to the rest of the eye. And I decided to add a little bit of blush. He has a little bit more emotion, a little bit more life in him. And half of doing makeup is posing in front of the camera to see how you look later. Now, this is a trick that I discovered when I was working with an actual professional makeup artist, is that sometimes just to define everything a little bit more, you extend the brow out. So you make a line from the tip of your brow just a couple centimeters out, and it really just, it adds a little bit of glamour to the face. Now we're doing the artistry part. I always want to have a white base. This is Morphe Pure White Concealer. Morphe concealer is not good at its job, but it is good for a base for artwork on your face. Now we are going for a tearful look. The whole point of the show is RYO learns how to cry at the end, and we're just going to do a couple of tear streaks and go from there. And now we're going to let that dry for a little bit and move on to other parts of the face. We're actually going to deepen up the outer crease with the darkest color I have in that palette other than black. And we're just going to put it right at the corner of the eye. It really just gives it more of a nightlife vibe to it. Just a little bit deeper, a little bit more feminine. This stuff is a miracle. It was $5. I bought it on a whim. I'm going to take the same brush after cleaning it off, and I'm going to take the gold and just glide it down the tears, and you're going to see even I'm impressed. Now, I did this one tear in the center. I thought I wanted another one at the corner of my eye, but I did not have a white base under it, and it did not turn out. I regretted it, but once you have your whole face done, you can't do anything about it. So I'm just putting the yellow shimmery eyeshadow on my lips, and one last thing, I decided to just highlight my face. So I took the natural highlighter, put it on my sponge, which I have not cleaned from anything we've done today, and just patted it on the rest of my face and my neck. so much for watching today. I really appreciate it. Go ahead, if you'd like to subscribe, check out my other videos. I'd greatly appreciate it. Yeet.